All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Akakodash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Ruel. Peace, salutations to Lake Akim in the four corners, pushing the truth with sincerity. Peace be unto you and Shalom. I want to start off, want to incorporate this as a habit going into 2026. Uh, as you see, this 2026 is the year of apostasy, year of your fallouts. And the verse of the year uh, is Sirach 9 and 15. It says, let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communications in the law of the Most High. I mean, you're supposed to be thinking about the scriptures. It shouldn't be a time of, it shouldn't be an hour that goes by. I'll say even a half an hour. Really, once you get into this thing, I'll be more realistic. You know, once you get into this thing, and I don't shit. Well, the time is short. I'm shit. Let me shut up, cause waking up in 2026 might be different than waking up in 2012 when I woke up. You know, so let me just say that your mind should always be on the law. That's actually the law. Real quick, Deuteronomy 6 verse 7. Deuteronomy 6 verse 7 and Deuteronomy 6 verse 7. Yeah, Deuteronomy 6 and verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. It's talking about the law. I'll start up. Deuteronomy 6 and 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. So when you wake up, you're supposed to be talking about this all day, thinking about this all day. Now, are you gonna be talking about this with your coworkers and stuff like this? No. Why not? If this somebody the spirit hits you to do it, then yeah, you know. But why not? Scripture says, "He that's righteous still, let him be righteous. He that's wicked still, let him be wicked still. He that is holy still, let him be holy still. You know, he is just still, let him be just still. You know, because it's gonna cause problems at the work job. Oh, he Hebrew Israelite stuff like that. Shh. It's like an open secret. If they find out, they find out. But we ain't. You don't go around telling. You know. So another verse I want to add to real quick. Sirach 38, 39 and 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditations thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecy. Oh, so they reading the law, occupied in prophecies and seeking out the ancient, and they doing all this, and that's how you get wisdom. So when you couple that with a brother, you know, who got some experience himself, a fellow watchman who sees what he sees, and you're talking with the wise, you learn it more and more. You're going to learn some stuff that only he might have experienced through his journey that you can be able to take and apply in you know your walk, which you might not experience personally for about the next, you know, let's say if this place we're going on 4 or 5 years, and he's able to give you experience that through talking that you would not ever known until you encounter that situation. It's always better to know going into the situation than be not knowing. So that's the verse of the year is let thy talk be with the wise, Sirach 9 and 15. The addition I was talking about earlier that I want to incorporate into this my lesson is Hebrew words of the day and herbs of the day. And the Hebrew word of the day today is Shabbat Shemayim Salakia, Salakia, Salakia. Hebrew word of the day. I guess I can make it two words. The Hebrew word of the day is Abanawa, which means is a compound word, which means our Father. Abba is Father. Shabbat Shemayim is a compound word. Uh, again, it means which art in heaven. So those are the Hebrew words. Abanawa, our Father. Shabbat Shemayim, which art in heaven. And I got on the screen the Hebrew words and their pronunciation and their numerical meaning and their meanings, as far as pictograph meanings. You got your pronunciation, which is what the rats use. Then you got the Paleo Hebrew, which is the Lashuan Kodash pronunciation. So like if you look at the screen, uh, Aleph, and then you got Ah. Those are the same letter, different pronunciation. Ah would be the right way to pronounce it. So if you look down, you can see how that's pronounced. I think I'm gonna save this as a format going forward. Herb of the day is skunk cabbage. You can find it in North America, shall I say, Babylon. It says Western skunk cabbage, wild ginger, dandelic, garlic, and yarrow are some of the herbs and plants that are most frequently employed in Native American medicine. So this is a herb that basically Gad used to use. It helps with a variety of disease, including skin disorders, gastrointestinal difficulties, respiratory problems, arthritic pain, heart problems, and mental and respiratory problems. Uh, it says it can aid in breathing improvement by enhancing airflow and reducing irritation. It can aid in bettering digestion by lowering intestinal inflammation and enhancing nutrition absorption. It can enhance mental health by easing symptoms of anxiety and despair. Now, this is from a book called Native Americans Herbalist Bible, 20 books in one. So it's really 20 books in one, but these are basically plants that are found in North America, which I'm not going to always quote from this book when I get my herbs. Sometimes I might even include videos uh, on the screen. That's the picture of the herb that we got for your skunk cabbage right there. Without further ado, Slakia, on with the lesson. All right, so this lesson, as the title is, a recap of 2025. It'll be going over some major events that occurred in 2025 and to basically just look back at hindsight and see, you know, where this thing is heading to and the pace that we're on right now. Sometimes it's good to jog back your memory, not always in the ancient times. Yeah, it's good that too, but sometimes in your most recent memory to jog back. You know, history is good, but also recent history is important. Not always just history about stuff that happened, thousands of years ago or 50 years ago. Sometimes it's history of stuff that just happened uh 7 months ago, 8 months ago, you know, a year ago, 10 years ago, you know. You know, so that's what this really is getting into is 2025 wrap up. All right. And so the first major thing that happened 2025 is you had on January the 15th, 2025, you had your Israel and Hamas agree to ceasefire.
This is news that so many people have been waiting months for. We're standing by waiting for a special report that's going to happen just moments from now, Robert. But I want to keep you on the line. I mean, how big of an issue, how big of a deal is this ceasefire agreement for
Oh,
this
it's
this
huge.
part of the
I mean,
country?
it's huge, right? The war's been going on for something like 465 days, right? So there was an early prisoner release at the beginning of the war back in November, more than a year ago, when about over 100 hostages were released. And since then, there's been all kinds of efforts to win their release, but they haven't come home. So
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Errol Barnett. We have breaking news for you coming out of the Middle East. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire and hostage deal after 15 months of war.
So you got your ceasefire. That was major. That was major news. The ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. And what is Hamas? Hamas is basically a Persian or Iranian backed militia group because Iran and America are already at war. They're just not at full scale war, but they're engaging in proxy wars. And that's all this is leading up to the grand finale, the war to end all wars. Your next major news event, the fulfillment of Isaiah 19:4. That's your next major prophecy. He was already in office already, but now he is taking the horns. You know, he taking the gloves off. He got he coming down with very very cruel uh policies that we've never seen from a president in our lifetime, and coming down hard. Matter of fact, Isaiah 19:4 says, I will deliver the Egyptians into the hands of a harsh master. Matter of fact, let me read King James Version. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Adonai, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh of saith Yahweh, the Yahweh of hosts. So the Egyptians, who is Egypt? What's Egypt? Egypt is talking about America. That's Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. If you understand what Egypt is, we shall be taken to Egypt by ships. America is Egypt. The Most High use similitudes. Hosea 12 and 10. He spoke to the prophets using similitudes. And Egypt is a similitude for America because the word America isn't in the Bible. So America is Egypt. And to set over them a fierce king, a cruel one. You got Trump, fits that description with a T. Now, a cruel person, it's very cruel, these immigration policies that they got. That's very, very cruel. It's very, very cruel of the things he was doing, and still is doing. A lot of the things he's doing is very cruel, very, very bold. He's threatening other nations and stuff like that. Already taking Venezuelan tankers and stuff, acting very, very bold. And somewhat kind of goes into the next major event. And it really ain't even a major event. This is a sub major event. It's Trump orders all DEI federal employees to put on leave. That was January the 22nd. Uh, that happened, and a lot of the DEI uh, uh, recipients were black women, and what happened? A lot of black women lost a lot of jobs throughout the year. They at one point it was 350,000. I know that number has went up. I would like to see the full report of black women that lost their jobs in 2025. I know it was up since last time they reported. Because I think when they said 350,000, that was just like 350,000 in 3 months. So we talking about all the way through December. I know it's more. Uh, Also another again. January 28th, 2025, Trump freezes almost all federal aid. Uh, that's another thing. Uh, a lot of people, basically lost their job. Uh, Judge blocks Trump's federal aid budget cuts. That happened later that same day, basically temporarily. Uh, he Next day, January the 29th, 2025, President Trump says he's signing an executive order today to prepare a massive facility at Guantanamo Bay that will be used to house deported immigrants. All right. Then this is Trump also said signed an executive order to send the worst of United States illegals to Guantanamo Bay in a 30,000 bed facility. So that cruel Lord, cruel Adonai. Uh, then shortly after, see how things is rapidly, stirring up. Also, January 31st, 2025, Trump announced tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada to take place around February the 18th. That's what was announced at that time. Three of America's, not three of America's top three trade partners putting tariffs on them. All boss, a president that stand on business is going to stir stuff up to get us out of here. Next thing I want to show that he did is he threatened to cut off Ukraine's access to Starlink and how that changed the tides. I'm gonna show a little, two clips actually, and show the importance of it. Now you can see by some of the tactics that America is using, specifically by threatening the threats that they're making and the demands that they're making. You know, you can tell a lot about somebody by the threats that they make to somebody and the demands that they make. So the threats that they making is to basically shut off Starlink, giving Russia an advantage. And so basically saying we'll let them take over you. And now you're starting to realize what America's agenda is. Uranium is highly important for making the arrows of the Most High. If you know what the arrows are, then you know. If you don't, stay tuned and you'll find out what the arrows of the Most High are. So Ukraine really is Russia. That's all it is. It's basically a rebellious Russian son. So they have vast. They're ranked like top 10 or top 15 between that. That's where uh, uh, data says that they're at. That Ukraine is. So they're ranked very high amongst countries, as far as uranium deposits, uranium reserves, and lithium is the future. It's basically they call it like white gold. It's very very valuable. Is a lot of these batteries are lithium batteries. You see these electrical vehicles, they use lithium. So we are racing to this fourth industrial revolution, and lithium is highly valuable. And what do you see that's taking place in Ukraine? A very high valuable, like, it's a technical, you basically like, a technical war, a technological war that we've never really seen, where it's implementing a lot of drones and stuff like that. And lithium is needed for that. Now here's this other clip I'm about to show.
Starlink has been used not just for communication, both civilian and military, but has been used for artillery targeting. So what the Ukrainians are doing, and the Russians as well, they're sending up these drones, typically like DJI Mavic drones, simple drones, flying over Russian positions, figuring out where the armored columns are, where the troop concentrations are, and then targeting them very precisely with artillery, because now you have the coordinates for that. They're also using them for counter battery fire.
Why do you need Starlink for the drones?
You need the drone to communicate back to the artillery positions that are far behind the front line. So miles
you can't just
away
do it through radio or some other type of way.
Yeah, you don't have that much length. And also Starlink is hard to jam because it's using so many satellites. So you need to target it pretty precisely with jamming equipment. So it's been really vital for Ukraine in many ways. And I would argue has had a disproportional effect on their assaults.
So Trump, this cruel lord, has been after countries, other resources. What is his slogan he wrote off of? Make America great again. Let's get back to robbing these other countries, using our leverage, invading other countries, and taking their resources, or extorting them out of their resources. Because if you're Ukraine, here it is, you got Putin basically whooping your ass, and then you got America be like, yeah, we'll help you if you give us some money. And these 50 what billion dollars worth of resources. But if you don't help us, we'll allow you to get your ass whooped. So basically, you in the straits. So you got to basically bend to the will of this beast. Because Ukraine is not in NATO. Last I remember, they have aspirations to join NATO, but you can't join NATO if you are actively in war. So they want to basically end the war, eventually join NATO, and Russia is like, no, because Russia, that's our land, and also it gives them access to seaports. I think that's the Black Sea. Gives them access to seaports, which is vital to Russia's economy. So That's one of the things that's going on with America, Ukraine, and you can see, what's that guy's name? The actor from Ukraine, the president, Zelensky. They showed this toy. It was like an international beggar. He's running around basically, and and he is an actor. You think that Russia, like, I would have just basically just when you go to war, bro. When America went, or here's a real war. When America went to war with Iraq, they had Saddam Hussein on the run. They caught him, and what did they do? They hung him. This guy, Zelensky, can get on a jet, fly over here, fly back to America, appear here, appear there. Come on now, bro. Take it with a grain of salt that it is. This ain't no, full scale out war, but a lot of people are dying. And there is people there. Let's say this. People are dying in this war, and there is an agenda behind this war. But the overall agenda is not for Russia to completely destroy Ukraine off the map, and vice versa. They got other battles in this war that they're fighting for. And this leads us to the next topic, the most controversial topic of 2025. None other than Peg Gate, Gorilla Hebrew. This was leaked out, pause, no Diddy, on what was this? March the 2nd, 2025. And we find out that your boy right here, he likes gay sex. He likes to engage in homosexual sodomy with his wife. He wants her to clap his cheeks and get white women or white men.
And things like that. But I understand. I've let myself down. I've let all of y'all down. And I get that, and I'm not making any excuse about that, and I'm ashamed of that. And I know a lot of y'all, there's a lot of niggas that's happy about that. But a lot of y'all, I promise you, would fold under this pressure. I promise you couldn't sit where I'm sitting. I promise you couldn't walk a motherfucking block in my shoes. I promise you niggas, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it since I was a kid, let alone now. But y'all want the spot, so I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm stepping back from Sakari. Passover is still going down here in Atlanta. Preacher Ash will be presiding over the Passover. I don't even know if I'll be there, frankly. I'm just gonna step back. Like I said, I've already turned and repented. But I guess I gotta step back some more. And maybe do some more soul searching.
All this time, this light-skinned, tough acting, I'm from the streets, I'm from the hood ass nigga is out here letting his wife insert plastic inside of him. Nigga ought to be ashamed of himself. You ain't had no business residing over any Passover at any time. Doing that along with the other wicked stuff that he was doing. So, it's funny that the year of apostasy was actually coined before 2026. Usually Apostle actually does it in 2000, the year before, but it's like the day before, midnight before. And he's for the most part been really off the scene. Because of him, and literally only because of him, the Hebrew Israelite world knows what pegging means. Before that, nobody knew what the whole word pegging meant, nor did we know what vanilla meant. Now, y'all might not remember vanilla, but I found out that vanilla, I guess, is regular sex. He sent in in this video, he shows that he's told his wife that I just want to go vanilla with you. Basically, have lawful sex. I didn't know there's actual term for having regular sex. Why would there be a term for regular sex? Because so many people doing weird shit nowadays. Got weird fetishes, armpit fetishes. I want to. I got a foot fetish. I got an elbow fetish. I want to. I can't think. I know some other weird stuff that people got fetishes of. Is probably dressing up as a schoolgirl, as a baby, or have another person dress up like a baby and with diapers, and I don't know. Niggas fucking disturbed. So he was laughing stock, rightfully so. And we're gonna go a little bit further and get off Pegasaurus Rex, because he deserves everything that he got. You have Moscow was hit by a drone attack on that's what's that, March the 11th, 2025. Uh a massive one too. Later that day, Trump raises tariffs on Canada steel and aluminum to 50%. Ukraine, Russia, and America agreed to 30-day ceasefire. That was announced on March the 11th, 2025. You know, interesting. I wanted to say, because I put it in my notes. I said interesting that Moscow is hit by drone attacks today, and later in the same day, Ukraine and Russia and America reached 30-day peace deal. The next day, March 2012, 2025, Canada announced 25% tariffs on 29.8 billion worth of U.S. goods starting at 12:01 a.m. Thursday, March 13, 2025. So these are some of the stuff that's going on. 2012, not 2012, 2025. The next day, it's reported Putin rejects U.S. and Ukrainian peace deal. So they ended up rejecting it. So also the following day, which was 3/14/2025, we had the blood moon. Now that was important, because the Most High, what he put the hosts of heavens and the stars and everything for signs and seasons. So blood moon, these are all signs. And also next, you have Yemen. They was attacked. They bombed it looks like a compound in Yemen, after saying that they have been attacking USA ships in the Red Sea. So that's if that's true, I don't know. But they attacked them for a reason. Whatever that reason was, you just can't believe anything that you hear from Esau. And now, what's the significance of Yemen? Yemen is basically homes, houses. Houses would be the better word. Yemen is where the Houthis are. Houthis. Again, they're backed by Iran. Another basically militia group. kind of like Wagner Group, which what's that? Russia. So they're very hostile. The Houthis are very hostile with uh the rats. Uh uh Specifically I don't know why is it escaping me right now. Amalek. Yeah, basically Amalek in our land. They're hostile towards them. They're not very friendly. They do not recognize those rats. More Trump news. This is March the 18th, 2025. Trump administration releases 80,000 pages of JFK files. Uh, March the 20th, 2025. Trump signs executive order to dismantle education department, basically Department of Education. 328. Amalek breaks Hezbollah ceasefire with aerostrikes in Beirut drone facility. Claims it was a retaliation from Hezbollah firing rockets into northern Israel. So that was not the same as the Hamas ceasefire. That was a different one. Hamas and Hezbollah, they're not the same, even though they're both enemies to the rats over there. This is April the 1st, 2025. European Commission President announces retaliation to Trump tariffs. You have what's that? April the 9th, 2025. Trump puts 90-day pause on some tariffs. Also, Trump temporarily drops tariffs to 10% for most countries, hits China harder with 125%. So there's a trade back and forth of tariffs, of basically a little bit of pump faking going on, a little bit of threats. I'm sure some people giving into the demand, some not. So a lot of that's what's going on. But what did happen, however, later that same day, stocks surged after Trump paused tariffs. So it definitely had an effect on the stock market. Specifically, the S&P 500 soars 9.5%. And then as we go down, well, what's major we have? 4/16/2025, White House imposes 245% tariffs on China. So, basically it's going up. 4/21/2025, Pope Francis dies. You have also the next major news. And as you can see, some of them I'm just reading and not posting links because I literally could be here all day if I post all the links. But the next major move is news in 2025 was Ukraine. This is reported basically what's that, April the 1st, really like no, not April the 1st, like April like the 30th or May the 1st, around that time. But definitely it was reported by May the 1st. So they must have made it around like, May the 28th and reported on, let's say, May the 30th. But Ukraine signs over mineral rights. U.S. and Ukraine announced signing of continuous minerals deal. Now, that was one of the things that America wanted. Now, if you I didn't include this was part of the timeline, but it was March the 2nd. That's when Zelensky met with Trump at the White House, and that didn't go very well. He was talking very, very arrogantly and stuff like that. And I'm sure that they were discussing those mineral deals and stuff like that, and basically uh, trying to basically extort him for minerals and stuff like that and deals. And so now he basically caved in. So it shows you how the tides. So knowing the stuff like this will show you how the tides and how things are changing in 2025 going into 2026.
The U.S. and Ukraine have announced an economic deal after a weeks-long press by President Donald Trump calling on Ukraine to compensate Washington for billions in military and economic assistance to help Ukraine repel the Russian invasion.
When I came here, I said, how much money have we given to Ukraine? The real number is about $350 billion. It's unthinkable. We're just pouring money there, unsecured money.
The long-anticipated critical deal gives the U.S. access to Ukraine's valuable mineral resources. Trump indicated in February that he wanted access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals as a condition for continued U.S. support in the war, but talks stalled after a tense Oval Office meeting of U.S. and Ukrainian leaders. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says this partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine. Ukraine's economy minister also confirmed that the deal had been signed in Washington, writing in a post on X, "Together with the United States, we are creating the fund that will attract global investment to our country." For Ukraine, the agreement is seen as key to ensuring its access to future U.S. military aid.
Trump passes the one big beautiful bill. He signs it, which is controversial. It's supposed to be for members of Congress. It's supposed to write up bills, and then they eventually pass it. Then they give it to the president for him to sign, not for basically the president to write up bills and allow Congress to talk about it, then bring up the bill that he initially initiated, really, and then have him, sign it. So very controversial. Cuts to SNAP, work requirements and stuff like that. I can't wait. I think some of the work requirements went into effect. I think December the 1st, and some other stipulations of the one big beautiful bill are going into effect January 1st. Elon Musk officially steps down from the Trump administration. That's May the 28th, 2025. Tariffs reinstated. That's May the 29th, 2025. Trump issues travel ban on 12 countries, restrictions on 7 more. So that was something that was major. So 6/12/25, Israel attacks Iran. That's was some major news right there.
Israeli strikes have hit the Iranian capital of Tehran on Sunday. Video on social media and geolocated by CNN shows smoke billowing into the sky in densely populated areas of the city. Other video showed an injured person being carried on a stretcher, while other residents try to suppress a water break believed to be caused by the strikes. A nearby building could be seen damaged, its windows blown out.
Then basically had a little conflict going on. And so 5 days into the war, here's what goes on. Basically, Trump says everybody leave Tehran. Basically threatening, like we about to, get it cracking. So here's a video showing this.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. We have some breaking news right now in terms of President Trump and the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. I want to put this up here on Live Now from Fox from Truth Social. The president saying Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. So some stark warning there from the President of the United States after we're seeing different interactions between Israel and Iran in the last several days. Of course, following it very closely here on Live Now from Fox as we heard over the weekend reporting that President Trump had vetoed an Israeli plan to take out the supreme leader in Iran. I don't know how much we can read into these words in terms of directly impacting it, but certainly a stark warning for Iran, for Tehran, saying everyone should immediately evacuate. So we're following this closely here on Live Now from Fox, and we'll continue to break down the latest on anything that we know that unfolds in real time from that area in the Middle East. All right, let's shift gears here real quickly on Live Now from Fox and talk about immigration here in the United States, as President Trump also says that ICE will ramp up arrests.
So that was on 6/16/2025. And shortly afterwards, what happened is U.S. bombs Iran. They bombed 3 nuclear facilities. And then in response, on 2 days later, on 6/23/2025, Iran bombs Qatar. Now, mind you, remember the blood moon has just occurred. And you see all this war just ramping up. But I'm about to put them in order. The first is the bombing of Iran and the bombing of Qatar.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the News at 10. I'm Rick Chambers.
And I'm Corrine Winter. In an escalation that could spark all-out war in the Middle East, the United States has dramatically entered Israel's war against Iran.
Yeah, American jets bombed 3 nuclear sites over in the Islamic Republic. One of those sites was the infamous mountain facility at Fordo, a major uranium enrichment center, hundreds of feet underground. And in a speech to the nation, as you heard, President Trump said that all of the sites were, quote, completely and totally obliterated.
We have live team coverage tonight. KTLA's Sarah Welsh is getting a local reaction to the strikes. But first, to Rachel Menitoff now from the KTLA News Center with details of the military action. Rachel.
Corrine, Rick, good evening to you both. President Trump said tonight if peace doesn't come quickly, he will go after additional targets in the region, saying most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. He also praised the U.S. military as the only one in the world to be able to do what was done tonight.
Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
President Trump addressing his decision to strike 3 of Iran's nuclear sites to prevent the country from building a nuclear bomb. He says Iran has repeatedly threatened to destroy Israel and says the U.S. completely obliterated its key nuclear enrichment centers, including the heavily fortified Fordo, a facility located 300 feet below the surface of the ground. The bomb used is tens of thousands of pounds and requires a special jet to deploy the weapon, equipment that only the U.S. possesses. More than a week ago, Israel launched a surprise attack on Iranian sites, and the country retaliated with a series of missile and drone strikes on Israeli infrastructure.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
And then what happened is they actually did make peace, but that was after Iran had bombed a military base in Qatar. So you see the tensions that's happening. You see the blood moon that occurred, and it's basically, man, it's lovely, a great time. When you look back in hindsight, the Most High has been doing a lot of stuff to ramp up, the biblical prophecies that's going on. Watch as well as pray, but don't forget what you watch either. So this is why this is like basically a recap. A lot of exciting things happened in 2025 that set up things to going into 2026 and going forward.
Allahu Akbar. Madam.
So you had also, excuse me, you had on 7/16/2025, Israel strikes Syria capital. I believe that's Aleppo, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it's Damascus. Excuse me, a little under the weather. Also, next major news is on 8/26/2025, Trump threatens to put National Guard in other cities, including Chicago. And what did he do? He went through with that. Chicago, I don't think, not so much. Could be mistaken because there was like a little back and forth of saying, the mayor saying, "Oh, they're not coming to Chicago" and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure. Actual next news is 8/31/2025, and that's Yemen Prime Minister killed by Israeli airstrikes. Slovakia. The Yemen Prime Minister killed by Israeli airstrike.
Yemen's Houthi Prime Minister has been killed in an Israeli attack. The rebel movement has confirmed the leader was killed when Israel's military launched an airstrike on the country's capital earlier this week. The IDF says it was attacking a Houthi military target in the area. The minister has been served as Prime Minister for the Houthi-led government since August last year.
Now that's a serious act of war right there. To kill basically a prime minister of a country, that's a serious act of war right there. And it all's leading up to the third woe that we already know that's happening according to the scriptures. You also had September the 7th, 2025, you had blood moon or lunar eclipse occurred for about 82 minutes. It says on September the 7th, 2025, a spectacular total lunar eclipse known as a blood moon occurred, turning the full corn moon a deep red for about 82 minutes as the Earth passed between the sun and moon, visible across Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, and parts of Oceania, but missed the Americas due to sunlight. So this wasn't visible to America, but nevertheless, it's still a sign. Then you had the other one, the other eclipse was, I think, is a solar eclipse that occurred, or was it maybe I think it was a solar eclipse, but there was another eclipse on September the 21st. No. Yeah, September 21st, 2025. But before that, that happened on 9, was that 10, 2020, 9/10/2025, the beloved and well hated Charlie Kirk was killed. He was killed, ironically, talking about shooting. He got killed by a tranny lover. Shot by a sniper. One shot, one kill, and that ended him. They ended up arresting the suspect and everything. So I'm not sure what the latest news about that, but that was just some, little bit of tidbit news. You got the government shutdown, which occurred 10 or October the 1st, 2025, longest government shutdown ever, which all they did was pass another a continuing resolution. They didn't really even pass another bill because right now, but when the government was shut down, they weren't even operating on a government bill then. They were operating on a continual resolution. And just like that, when they passed it, they reopened the government. They didn't pass a real budget. They just did another continuing resolution. And 10/13/2025, China announces hostile export controls. Winding closer down to the year, 11/2/2025, Trump threatens military action against Nigeria. Fast forward to 12/25 Christmas Day, they actually did take some military actions, but nothing major because it was not designated a no-fly zone for Americans. Because what happened? Anthony Joshua got injured in a car accident in America. You wouldn't go to some place where it's designated hot zone. So they, I guess, whatever military actions they did, it wasn't large, full-scale combat. But let's go back to time in order. Trump, 11, what's that? November 11, 2025, Trump will not release SNAP benefits because they was talking about since government shut down, or at least release the SNAP benefits. It was like, nah, nope, we ain't even doing that. Another news, I'm gonna add a clip for this one. Iran sends $1 billion to Hezbollah. Iran sends $1 billion to Hezbollah. So again, Hezbollah and Hamas are not the same. Again, they both have issues with Israel, and they're both also backed by Iran. Just like the Houthis are backed by Iran as well.
So, and by the way, Iran's regime, even though they're flat on their back with a huge water shortage, has managed to smuggle $1 billion to Hezbollah. So just when you thought maybe Lebanon could be run by the Lebanese, billions of dollars still pouring into which was once the gold standard of terror groups. How much longer, how much longer until Israel has to take them out again because they've been resupplied?
Brian, Israel is striking into Lebanon with some frequency. So even as we talk here today, the Israelis are watching what Hezbollah is doing. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Shia militias in Iraq, they're not going to go away quietly, Brian. This is going to take continued effort from us, from the Europeans. They've got to get serious about this. The Israelis are going to have to continue to do what they know how to do best, and the Gulf Arab states need to join in pushing back against this. You're exactly right. These guys aren't going to lay down their arms. This is not over. There's still work to be done.
Yeah, and by the way, Jared Kushner meeting with the Prime Minister.
Another major news that occurred. Let me also add, if you sending $1 billion, you sending that for war. And trust and believe, $1 billion goes a lot further in their currency than it does here in America currency. But another one is damn, I just lost it. Oh, Hezbollah leader killed in Beirut strikes. Now we about to play this.
לפני שעות אחדות צה"ל חיסל את עלי טבטבאי, רמטכ"ל ארגון הטרור חיזבאללה.
So ain't that ironic? After Iran just sent $1 billion over there, what did they do? Not too long afterwards, they just killed the leader of Hezbollah. You know, this Israel, those Israelis, shall I say? Well, I guess I can't say Israel, even though I don't like it, because I mean, that is the face that they're trying to portray as. Fuck the Amalek. Fuck, what the fuck am I thinking? Amalek is stirring up a lot of stuff. Amalek is kicking up a lot of dust. Let me find this guy's name. I know how to pronounce it, I don't know how to spell it. Narsan Salah, I think is. Nar, I think it is. Nar. What would I do without ChatGPT and Google? Okay, okay. This was September 27th, 2024, not this year. But this Nassan Nar Salah or Nasrallah, however you pronounce it. Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah leader killed in Beirut in Israeli airstrikes. So they've been knocking these Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthi leaders. Man, they kicking up dust, brothers. You know, when we think about, prophecy, we always thinking about America. America, what's going on in America, ice race, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on in other parts of the world. I mean, because think about it. Where's the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat? It's over there in the so-called Middle East. Basically, the Persian Gulf. Things is about to ramp up, so we got to look at, all places, but that's a major hot spot. Because what's going to happen is going to lead them over there. Tensions. So, American news is good, but the tension that's going on in the Middle East and what deals are being done, also Ukraine as well. Who's being killed? What demands are being made? What trade deals are going on? What pipelines are being built? What sanctions are being put on who? Because that will lead you oftentimes back to the culprit, and you can anticipate certain stuff is going to happen. You can kind of, if you got common sense, you can kind of anticipate if Israel, if Iran gets struck today, and they're saying Israeli did it, you can kind of anticipate, okay, all right, Iran about to strike back sometime soon. So you can see some things before they even happen. Scripture says we see through basically a glass that's murky. And that was pretty much the last major news. Like I said, the Nigerian bombing on Christmas Day, that wasn't too big, but it was something. but something enough to keep an eye on to see what that might escalate to, because Trump is definitely on a war path. December 20, 2025, Genesis moves to another platform to teach new doctrine. The Genesis Israelites, the break off of the Sakari. And on that note, I hope this wrap up has been edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kudash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Rule Well. Looking forward to edifying you brothers 2026. Peace, blessings, and shalom.